Welcome to Game Chat, where Alan and I talk about the latest game news. And today we're talking about the new COD 2. Season 2 is coming out for Black Ops 6. PlayStation Network went down last week. Fortnite Crew are coming out with the Season 6, Chapter 2 coming out next week. Control 2 will be having a new one. 2024 is at the end of Resident Evil. And Marvel Rivals, is it a good game? Was it worth playing? And ATS is coming out with a new state. All that and more on Game Chat. Hey Alan, how's it going?
It's going great, Darren. How are you?
Doing good. We got our new one of our co-hosts back again.
Hunter
back.
Thank you very much.
I'm also here.
Yeah, Hunter's over here.
Yep.
So what you guys been doing for games and whatnot, and esports and all the good stuff?
Let me start with the esports update. We've completed the preseason. Rocket League team went 1-1 in the preseason. They lost to Doc Phillips High School, but they beat York High School. Smash Brothers team went winless in the preseason, but Hunter and I are quite happy with the progress over the last four matches. I was taking a look at the tallies of the matches, and it's like we lost, 0-6, 0-6, 1-6, 2-6, 3-6. So there's progress.
It's not bad.
Progress.
I legitimately believe, just with the way the kids were playing, like there were some matches in there where we were the better player.
Yeah.
And it's legitimately it's not that they were bad at the game, it's that they're not experienced at fighting opponents other than us. They don't know the roster, they don't know what it's like to compete, and as that experience builds, I'm incredibly hopeful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not because they were bad. They just didn't know how to play against.
Exactly.
How to defend themselves against that person they were playing against.
Yep.
Yeah,
on the
basically.
team.
So week one, the official spring 2025 season starts today. Smash Brothers kids are taking on Cambridge High School, and tomorrow the season starts for Rocket League if the weather holds out. We're recording this on February 12th, 2025. But tomorrow they'll be taking on Bell County High School out of Kentucky. So it looks like we were put into the Eastern region again, but I think it's going to be the same thing where we play the bigger pool of teams for the season, and then the playoffs will be Vermont State.
Which is
playoffs.
great. I mean, compared
Works
to
for me.
last.
That way we're not playing the same 2 or 3 teams for
the
8 weeks.
Five
so.
teams that we played last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the esports recap. In terms of what I've been playing, just a little bit of Fortnite. We do our weekly Vasia Royale show.
Yeah.
That's really where I've been getting some of my Fortnite time in. I've been diving back into No Man's Sky. It's a comfort game for me at this point because I'm treating it like Minecraft in terms of just harvesting and clearing out, and it's one of those mindless. I can just sit there and dig away and relax, and it's fantastic. What else we got? They had a free play weekend of NBA 2K25. I played a little bit of that. That was a lot of fun. And Ghostbusters: The Spirits Unleashed had another update, so I gave that some time.
Check.
Yeah.
And I've been doing my usual Fortnite, COD, and checking out new games once in a while. Like Madden came out for me finally.
Yep. Yeah. Madden 25 is on the Game Pass. I've got that in one of my stories, I think.
Finally, for me. I've just been hacking it with COD and Facebook, and I did have there was a new game out. It's kind of like Lost, but I can't remember the name of it. I just thought of it.
Stranded Deep?
I think so.
That might be it. It's like a survival game where you're just on an island.
You're on an island.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty good. It was a very good game. But other than that, that's just what I've been pretty much playing.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Yeah. Hunter, what about you? What have you been getting into?
I haven't had as much time for gaming as I would have liked lately. I just have a lot going on. That said, I started the new Destiny season. I actually haven't gotten into it, but it's a lot of fun. I finished Metaphor Refantasio. Took me literal months because I just took a massive break from it. I got to a point where I was legitimately like, I feel like I've done everything I want. Like I feel done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you can always think of like a game like a meal, and you're done when you're full.
Yep.
And I just got full early.
Yeah. If there's nothing left to it, it's a feeling of
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
but I was like, the other game that I've been really wanting to play is Hollow Knight. I wanted to just go play through that again.
Yep.
Just a lot of fun, and I was like, well, if I don't finish Metaphor, I'm never going to. So, I finished off that. I have a lot of opinions about it, honestly. I left for my month or 2 month break being like, that's a great game. That's a great game. I just think Persona was better.
Yep.
And then I finished the game and I'm like, I hate it. I hate this game. Like, I hate the end of this game. I feel like
Yeah, we've all had
Yeah.
that one ending of a game like, really? This is how you're going to end this thing?
it's not even that the ending was bad. It was just so deeply bland, and the boss was cool and sophisticated and not at all fun.
Yeah.
And it was just like I literally got to a point at the end of that game where when I picked it up, like the game works on like a calendar, and I had like 21 days in the in-game calendar left, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to fight the final boss. I'm the level it tells me I am. I've maxed out like all of the, I have every archetype you can get. I've done everything in the game.
Yeah.
And I have 21 days left. I'm the level the game says I should be. I feel like I'm fine. And I was 20 levels under level, surely.
Yeah.
Like by
jeez.
just like the boss has like it's
Walk
it's
over there and
neat.
get your butt
It
kicked.
has like 3 heads, and each head does a thing. But one of the heads only debuffs you.
Oh.
And at the level I was, like, I must have been too low level or something. I couldn't play the game. Like, it wouldn't let me play the game. And I was like, this is not
Mine
fun.
was,
I'm not enjoying myself.
Mine was Gear of War.
Yeah.
The final boss for Gears of War. I just rage quit. I was like, I'm done. I'm the final boss. I beat this game. I don't care.
No, I Metaphor, it's the first time I've ever done it where I beat the final boss and I turned the game off and pulled up the final cutscene on YouTube because I was just like, if I have to hold this controller any longer, I'm gonna put it through the screen. Like, I'm so unhappy with this game.
Yeah.
And then the ending itself was utterly bland. It said nothing. Like the cool thing about Atlas is that they're always trying to say something. And listen, I get it. Like, Atlas is about as delicate and graceful as a freight train trying to figure skate. But this, like, that's fine if what they're trying to say is important. And I am okay with the message being shoved down my throat if it's a good message.
Yeah.
They didn't do a good job.
No.
It was like, yeah, they did not handle it. They did not cover themselves in glory, in my opinion.
Yep.
They were just, and I was so unhappy about everything that every small problem and the ending was so utterly magnified that I could not enjoy myself. Yep. Now I'm gonna go play Hollow Knight. Yep. That's where I'm at.
All right. All right, let's move on to our trivia questions.
Yep. I got a trivia question as well. So what do you got, Darren?
Starting this month, we are doing something new and great. We are going to be setting up a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, and all that stuff, as you know. But the answers are, instead of me telling you at the end of the game, you, the listeners and viewers, have to tell us what it is. And the first person to get it correct will win a prize at the end of the month.
Yep.
So we're still discussing what kind of goodies we're going to be giving you.
I think it can be something as simple as a gift card, V-Bucks, PlayStation Network, Xbox, something like that. But listen, so when this video, if you're watching this video, you're most likely watching it on YouTube. Comment below what you think the answer is to the trivia questions. If you were the first one to put the right answer, we'll talk about it next month's episode, give the answer, and let you know what you want and tell you how to get your prize.
Alan, just to make sure, you don't know my YouTube handle, right?
I do not, no.
Excellent,
Nope. Okay,
good.
perfect.
Unrelated.
All right.
Unrelated.
You're cheating over here. No cheating.
Unimportant.
Another disclaimer, Northwest Access Television staff is not eligible for this contest.
We'll see.
I think we're adding rules at the finish line here.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we should, yeah.
All right, so what do you
What's
got for
mine?
your trivia?
My trivia is the Warthog is the nickname for what of the M12 Force Application Light Reconnaissance Vehicle a fiction armor fighting vehicle that appears in what game series? So that's my question.
That's your question. My question is, it's kind of an easy one. I think people should be able to get this one. In the Nintendo 64 game, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, what is the name of the fairy companion that guides Link throughout his journey? So comment below if you know the answers, and if you are the first one, you'll probably be the only one, but if you're the first one, we'll call you out at the next episode and tell you how you can get your prize.
All right, here we go.
All right, on to the news?
On to the news. Let's hit it hard. Let's hit this big old headline of the month, basically.
Yeah.
PlayStation
Yep.
Network going down. Oh, too sad for me. For us Xbox users, it was so sad because we got a chance to actually pick on the PlayStation people for 24 hours.
Chances don't come often these days.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
no, it
No,
don't.
it's if the people behind this were wanting to affect the largest population of video game players, yes, PlayStation Network is the way to do it.
It's
maybe Steam. You know, Steam's probably a little higher up there, but it's like, you know, you shut down the Nintendo Network. What is that? 20 people online playing a game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to be very clear. It is, first of all, like, first thing we absolutely have to say, and this happens far too often, Sony has not covered themselves in glory in this moment. They didn't. This is a bad situation. They have handled poorly. It is also incredibly important to be very clear that we do not know what happened. We have no idea. We know that it went down. We know that it impacted some games. It impacted the Monster Hunter service test, which, I'll tell you right now, the people working on the game are not happy about that. God help the network engineer who didn't get the test they needed before that game comes out. They're gonna have to figure something out. I know it impacted Destiny, had an event going on. The thing is, we just don't know. So Sony literally, I think I can almost tell you word for word. I'm pretty sure the message Sony did send was, "We are aware that the PlayStation Network experience is being impacted." Period.
Yep. I think they said operational issues. My thing is, you said it right. They're in a bad situation and they're handling it poorly.
So the last time this happened, it was a hack. PlayStation
It was
Network,
North Korea.
Yeah. PlayStation Network was down for 28 days, and some 7 million users' data was compromised.
Yep.
There are a lot of reasons to suspect that this might not be a similar situation. The hack or the network going down did not last for nearly as long.
Yep.
There was not nearly as much communication with the services that were in play. There were, some of Sony's in-house developers did not seem as surprised. There are reasons to believe that this is not the same situation. However, if you are a consumer for the largest game player base out there right now, and I'm sure that Steam is larger, but also you pay for PlayStation.
Exactly.
Steam, the kinds of games you're able to play on Steam, Steam is a larger player base, but it is where the smaller games go because they do not have the money or clout to be on PlayStation. The first-party publishers are always going to have those big AAA games. Yep. It is going to be rare that a game like God of War or Final Fantasy or Halo or anything can be made for Steam alone. Yep. That's just not going to happen.
It's not good business practice.
Yeah, and Phil Spencer has decided that Xbox is a third-party publisher. Nintendo really only likes to publish where they like to publish.
Yep.
Sony has a responsibility to its player base to make sure that our data is secure, and that if there is a reason for us to suspect that something is wrong, that they communicate with us.
Yep.
They have not done either.
I will argue, though, every data breach that's happened, have we ever found out about it within a few months of it occurring. Every time
So-
I've heard of a data breach, it's from something that happened several months in the past.
Right?
So it's never, hey, the outage over the weekend we just had. There could have been some data compromise. No, they'll come out in the summer and be like, we just want to let you know.
Right, when the iron's
we had a compromise of our system between December 24 and February
Yeah.
25.
And-
Da, 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 da.
That is not a good business practice.
No.
So here's the thing, is that just like, the thing that we need to know is if we need to be worried. And
Yeah.
because it is so incredibly important that we don't worry, especially when, granted, Sony has not had the kind of time to pivot into the monopoly that they have become because they didn't know they were going to be in this position.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer looked at PlayStation, saluted them, and said, "Here you go.
Yep.
Here's the keys to the kingdom."
Pretty much.
We are in a world where if literally any time, I have a friend coming up to me. I have one friend in Pennsylvania who's like, "Man, I really I've been saving up and I want to get the new Xbox, and I have to be a responsible friend and tell him you shouldn't.
Yeah. Yep.
That's just not a good purchase. PlayStation, you will have every game at known to man. It is the only thing as a consumer. It is the only responsible choice.
Yep.
It's your, as a consumer, it's just your best option. Not even
Yeah.
for the hardware, for what's in it.
Yeah, for the
And
software.
if you're gonna be the king of the castle,
Yeah.
Better
yeah,
know how to back
you better
it up.
do a good job with it.
Yep.
And so, don't panic, because we don't know if we should.
Yep.
It would
Yeah,
be really
that's
cool if
the,
Sony let us know if we should.
That's the thing. It's like, hey, what happened? Oh, the network went down. Is everything all right?
No.
Yeah.
Were you guys data breached?
No, yeah. We're being left on red
Yeah,
is what's
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And
The
there
non-answer
are-
is an answer.
No, it's not. It would be if Sony's comms team did a good job ever.
If they took any other answer would be, yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
the only problem is, this is the kind of silence we get from Sony all the time. This isn't a strange thing to happen is the problem. It could be, Sony, granted, this is more something you kind of see with Nintendo, where and honestly, Disney, Warner Brothers, where they will not give any press to things that should be done, but there have been updates to the Sony platform that we weren't told anything about before.
Yep.
And this was the length of time where it could have been that, but wouldn't the publishers want to know that? Wouldn't the player base want it? People were running events. Monster Hunter had a network beta. You kind of need the network.
Yep.
There are other things this could be, and there are so many times where Sony has not communicated on things that aren't positive but neutral.
Yeah.
Where it could be one of those, and if we were in a position where we had actually gotten comms on good events happening, then yes, no answer would be an answer. But no answer is the normal answer from Sony. We just don't know.
Which is true. They'd rather sit there off in the corner and go, "No, I'm not saying nothing. I can't say nothing."
Yeah, it's a bold strategy.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the wrong strategy.
It's a
But
strategy.
like I said, for 24 hours, us Microsoft Xbox users got a chance to hold it over PlayStation's head.
Yep.
So, you like your PlayStations now?
Yep.
Said we were sitting there playing Fortnite and all these other
Well,
games.
we
where you
had,
like your How do
we
you
had
like
the
PlayStation
open
now?
house, and one of the kids was trying to log into his
That's
PSN
right.
account
It hadn't occurred
to
to
play
me.
Rocket League because it's connected to Epic Games, and he couldn't get into it, and he couldn't use his account. So we were directly affected by it. So,
Yeah.
well, he was at least. Yep.
Yeah.
No, we were directly affected by it. 78% of all the video game players in the world were affected by
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
80
Yeah.
about,
Yep.
yeah, 80. 80% alone are on God.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, it was bad.
All right.
We
Well,
move on.
Let's moving on. That's the PlayStation Network.
That was
Outage
that.
of
We just pretty
2025?
much, 2025 on to 2026. That would be further on down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because move on. Black Ops actually, let's move over to mine. Well, Black Ops 6 is going to have an update next season, breaking out with the Season 2 pass, which is going to be, I've already seen it. It looks pretty good. As players reported, the serious issues with Season's Battle Pass may users appear to have completely locked out futures following release. A recent game update. The COD Black Ops 6 continues to receive steady stream updates for new fans of the shooter, which becomes increasingly frustrated. May bugs, glitches, and general issues sure awry after the patch. So basically, after the date, they're going to patch it again. So which is nothing new.
I hate it.
I hate it too.
It's ridiculous. We as consumers should not stand for it. But also, all of the producers in the market are like, if we all do it to you.
Is it really that bad if we all do this?
Yeah, if everyone's screwing you, it's normal.
It's the new normal. Yep.
It's a new normal.
But it's nonsense. But at the same time, like, hey, we just stopped paying for music and got away with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Same thing. So that's going on.
it was so funny. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like someone updating someone in a coma after 10 years, and they were like, yeah, by the way, we all just kind of stopped paying for movies and music, and I think we got away with it. Like, I think it's fine.
What the heck have you been the last 10, 20 years? In a coma. So that's what I'm talking about. Or anything you want to add there?
I got a couple news stories here.
I got several.
On COD 6, really quickly, I don't know, I don't believe I was here the week this happened, but did you guys see there was like a Bloomberg report on how much it actually cost to make a Call of Duty game?
I saw something about that. I
didn't.
forgot to make a note of it. I think it
Yeah,
said
we
like
didn't mention
$600 million or something like that.
Do you know how much it cost to make God of War Ragnarok, one of the best produced games ever made?
50 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where a lot of the funding for COD games comes from?
Military.
The Department of Defense. It's a recruitment tool.
That's
it
true.
is.
Yeah,
So, $600 million. My question is, do you play COD 6?
Yes.
Do you see $600 million?
No.
Yeah, do you see $600 million worth of game when you play COD?
No.
COD's a great game. COD 6 in particular.
Oh, God,
People love that game.
I love it.
$600 million, where'd that go?
Yeah.
Where's that going?
There's a lot of stuff where it's not worth $6 million. No.
600 million. Yeah.
600, there's no...
I got to assume that it was dumped into marketing.
No.
The
no.
wash of just an inflated
Do you know
amount
how
of
little marketing COD actually needs to do? Like, if you look at just like commercial runs and stuff, because the problem with COD is that
It's like Fortnite.
yeah, it's COD. The COD is it's part of the calendar.
Yeah.
It happens like clockwork. You
basically a
don't-
live service game at this point.
Yeah, and you just buy it anyway.
Yep.
No one cares. So like they don't have to market COD.
Yep.
And when you see a COD commercial, do you see any new gameplay feature? Do you see
No,
anything
no,
convincing you to buy it?
but they do have a celebrity who probably wanted several $1 million to be in the commercial.
It doesn't cost several $1 million to get a celebrity in a commercial like that. That's not how.
You're right. You're right. It is a little fishy.
It's $600 million.
For a bunch of people running around in a green suit.
So
Green
like,
suit with white tennis balls on them. That's all.
unless they heated the building in winter by burning money, I don't know where that went.
You're right. It's not worth.
It doesn't. It takes. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to look at that and go,
Where'd
That's
the
what I'm
other
saying.
where'd the other 450 million go? I'd say.
450. Where
It
the
is.
other
It's-
48? Like where'd the
Yeah.
other $498 million go?
I mean,
It
at
doesn't cost
best,
that much.
maybe no different than any other video game. To me,
It's
Quality
like,
wise, yeah.
quality-wise,
like
no.
it's polished,
Yeah,
but
no.
Graphics are.
yeah, no, it's like you spend enough money on QA, you can get that kind of polish on a lot of things. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not.
With COD, I've had better graphics on any other game than COD. I mean, graphic-wise,
no.
it's mid-range. I mean, it's not bad, but it's
yeah.
not the best in the world. I've seen
Yeah.
better.
But it's also it's like, come on, the physics calculations aren't that hard. You don't need an engine that's crazy. It just
Yep.
And then they're still using the old Unreal tournament, Unreal 4.
Yeah. If
And your
if
four.
I worked for the IRS,
I would
all
look.
I'm saying.
I would look into this.
If I were a federal prosecutor for just like embezzlement, tax laws, that kind of thing, I would be looking into it.
Yeah.
That said, great game.
Yep.
It's a great game,
Yeah,
trust
great
me.
game.
Yes.
All right.
You wanted to,
I've got switching things up. Nintendo
yes.
announces the Switch 2. They officially announced it, set for release in 2025, potentially as early as June. There will be a dedicated Nintendo Direct presentation in April, on April 2nd, and they actually gave the time for it as well. I forget if it's like 10 a.m. or something like that. They're going to get more details about the hardware, system specs, and launch games are hopefully be revealed, and we're hoping to see something on Metroid Prime 4. I know that the creator of Smash Bros. Ultimate had a favorable reaction to a social media post about that, which let people go absolutely bonkers that they're hoping to see a new Smash Brothers game on the Switch 2.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm conflicted for. I coach Smash, so
Yeah.
first of all, for my personal life, if there's a new Smash game, I have to buy a Switch 2, and then I have to play this game whether I want to or not. I
think
need to
that's what-
learn how the competitive scene
I think that's what
works.
Nintendo's banking on for.
Well, but
but
even
what
just
if it's
leaving
a
that
new
up,
Smash game for 1 and 2?
if it were like, listen, if there's a new Smash game, if it's great, awesome. Sakurai is such a particular mind, and Smash is not Smash without him.
Yep.
At every single interview you've ever seen with Sakurai, he is the beating heart of that game. It is his vision that sculpts it and makes it works. He is like, his process is particular. I would not advise it on many people, but it works. He knows what he's doing, and he is so incredibly passionate about it. And I am happy that he was able to just retire and make his own thing, and that's fine. And I know that he said, like, I know basically what he said is, if I were working on Smash, I couldn't tell you, was effectively, was basically the.
I'm not
the
working on anything over here. Like the man behind the
Well,
clock.
it's not even that. Like, it's the, like, listen, if I were, obviously
If I were.
wouldn't be allowed to tell you.
Yeah.
He probably isn't, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if he did. He is so clearly just like, you've seen it a million times in the film industry, when a creative is just, they're done.
Yeah.
It's just like, listen, there's no hills left to conquer. I'm
Yep.
done. And I've done it. And Sakurai hit that point. He went and made a YouTube channel. He's adorable, by the way. You should absolutely watch his videos. He's just a guy. He's just a little guy
Yep.
doing fun guy things, just talking about games. And talking about his process is incredibly enlightening. If you ever cared about game development or ever wondered what it takes to make a really successful fighting game that breaks the mold in a way Smash did, to the point where people are trying to clone it. If you want to, like, look at the birthplace, the mind that this all came from, I can't recommend it enough. But, and it's not, I'm not even saying that there aren't, like, great people on the Smash team who could make a Smash without him. I'm sure these people have done it enough times.
Yep.
Well, to get back to that, those type of games have been around ever since Street Fighter. So,
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
not like he's really doing anything new with it.
Well, so I would argue, yeah. So the big sea change for Smash is how you get a kill, how you get a KO, and that utterly re-sculpts the entire game. The value of certain game actions, the value of your combo, the value of movement is utterly different.
The difference
Because
between Street Fighter and Smash is there's a lot more movement in Smash.
well, it's
And a
not
lot
even that there's a
more-
lot more, like, yes, there's more movement, but that is a consequence. I really think the genesis of what makes it different is that in Smash, you can take infinite damage. There is no amount of damage somebody can do to you that will knock you out. The only thing that knocks you out is leaving the screen. And just that means center stage is more important. That boxing people out. Stage control, the way platforms work, the fact that there are platforms at all. Why movement is important. What is your vertical? It's not about how far you can move, it's about how many different ways you can get there. All of that stems from the idea that there is no health bar.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant. It literally does make an entirely different game. It necessitates, it is still a fighting game. Every part of it is a fighting game.
Was it every 5 seconds or so the screen keeps moving?
Some levels it does that.
Some levels, but in competitive Smash, you're always on a stagnant stage.
Yep.
Or always?
Yeah, they've got probably 6 or 8 levels. They do for
but
competitions.
that said, that's a design space you can entertain and play with.
Yeah.
Like the way that Smash works as a party game because of how it's designed. Smash is a brilliant concept that is unlike anything else. There is not until the other game,
Multiverses,
Multiverses.
Nickelodeon All-Star Smash Brawl, or not Brawl, but All-Star Smash.
Brawlhalla back in the day. Like,
That game was actually a lot of fun.
It was
That one that Epic started up and...
Multiverses? Yeah, there's Multiverses, which they've already canceled,
but
and that's come and gone. Yeah.
Well, partially because, trying to take a bite of that apple is, it's just Sakurai has it so far above his head that no one can reach it.
Yep.
But,
That didn't last long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but could someone else do this? Absolutely. And I fully believe that there are creatives out there who can do something incredible with this project. And I personally, I have no data to back this up. Absolutely none. But listening to Sakurai, listening to him talk, looking at him and listening to the kind of stress he was under and how happy he was to be out of that space, I would genuinely believe that he probably isn't working on a new Smash. I also believe that if Nintendo is releasing a Switch 2, they have turned the screws. They have pointed at their producers and said, "Hey, new Pokemon game."
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
You're making an. I don't care. Like Smash Brothers, Mario, Pokemon. They have been. The word has come down from on high.
And also, don't forget Zelda.
Get to working on them. Yep.
Don't forget good old Zelda. They need one for that.
Honestly, I don't believe they do. Purely because if the Switch 2 can run Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames a second, it is a new Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but of course these studios are going to make more games, but Smash is just such a thing where only Sakurai has sculpted it, and anyone else's hands on that project terrifies me because I love Smash so much.
But that's get back to Nintendo. That's what their rise and fall of the company.
Yeah.
Is the fact that they rely on.
Where's the fall?
In fact, no. The fall part is the fact that they're number 3.
Yeah.
In all the other consoles.
Their overhead isn't as much. They print money.
Yes.
Nintendo. The problem. My problem with that argument.
My point was trying is why aren't, if they're so popular with these games, why aren't they up there competing with Xbox?
Because they don't release their games on
PlayStation.
Because they don't release their games on PlayStation or Steam. That's why.
Yeah.
The only place you can play Smash is on a Nintendo, so they have shrunk their market.
Exactly.
It's literally just they have decided that they would rather be the biggest fish in their pond than play with any other shark.
Yeah, they decided, like we always joke, Fred decides to be over there doing his own thing while these two are duking
However,
it out.
by doing that, they get the kind of freedom to do that, to make whatever decisions they want.
Yep.
Yeah, Mario Wonder is an incredible game that couldn't have existed if it wasn't made at Nintendo.
Yep.
Where people literally who worked in the mailroom got input into how that game was made. Nintendo prints money. Sony also has to make computer parts. Xbox is a subsidiary of Microsoft. No one owns Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo owns Nintendo. In fact, Nintendo owns Game Freak. They work at a money factory.
They've created an ecosphere unto themselves that is kind of insulated from anything else that happens in the video game market.
No, and even when the gaming bubble was shrinking, you saw the CEO of Nintendo walk up and say, "Hey, I'm going to cut my entire salary."
Yeah.
You could never do that if you had
Shareholders?
if you had
Investors?
Microsoft breathing down your back,
Yeah.
if you had to push X number of computer parts,
Yeah.
if you were like also making TVs,
Mm-hmm.
like their Sony is a smaller part of a chai bowl. Nintendo is just
That's
Nintendo.
all it does. That's all it does.
And
Yeah.
that kind of freedom, yeah, Sony's bigger. I bet money that if you told Phil Spencer he could work at Nintendo, he would sell everything he owned
absolutely.
to have that
Absolutely
kind of
wants to.
freedom. Yeah,
Yep.
the like.
If it was up to Phil, he wouldn't even have to worry about
Yeah.
the Xbox. It'd be all go cloud control or
That's-
cloud-based gaming.
That's
and
the
be done
next
with it.
step is that, and I think it's gonna, my feeling and my theory is that it's gonna be introduced with the Switch 2, is that Xbox Game Pass, if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you'll be able to play Xbox Game Pass games on your Nintendo Switch using Switch controls.
I
which
don't
is-
see how Switch loses in that deal.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Switch doesn't lose. Xbox
Don't
doesn't
lose.
lose in the sense
Yeah.
that they now, I think it's a smart pivot. They haven't really done it yet, but it's going to be a smart pivot to get out of the hardware industry. And you are now a gaming library subscription company.
a third-party publisher by
Yes.
definition.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
are
good.
publishing. They make games for third party.
Because they have gotten so many other companies, developers like Activision, Blizzard,
King,
Bethesda.
yeah.
all that, that's
You
all
can
they've
go
been
on and
doing,
on.
purchasing these last 2 years.
Yep.
Are these other developers at EA to do this? They've been setting it up. We've been seeing it for the last 3 years. What they've been planning on.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
they just need to execute it.
So I don't know about that. Like the market speculation looked more like that because you heard all those stories about when the PS3 or the PS4 came out. The PS4 won the console war within a week.
Yes,
and
it did.
you heard like for years Microsoft was like, oh, we're fine. And then, around the time of the Series S coming out, the Xbox executives were like, guys, guys, it was so bad when the PS4 came out. It was bad.
A lot of that came out in the Epic Games trial, I believe.
Yeah.
They had a
Yes.
lot of internal communications from
discovery,
Xbox of
yeah.
like, and that
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
But like it really it felt more like because Sony was sinking way too much money into live service, which granted everybody was.
Yep.
Look at what happened to
Yeah, I
some
can't
of
even
it-
remember the name of the game, but I know exactly. There's Exoprimal. It's one of them.
Exoprimal, Suicide Squad,
There's that. That's gone.
Yeah.
Not Anthem. What?
Anthem's
Concord.
on there.
Concord. That's
yeah,
it.
well, that was a Sony title. But
that was.
Concord is actually the biggest flop video games I've ever had.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that thing.
And the funny thing is, like, literally, no matter who you talk to, I promise you, if you talk to any human being who isn't walking out of Microsoft or Sony headquarters and ask them, hey, do you think Concord was a good idea? Do you think that should be a $40 game?
Yeah.
They'd all give you the same answer.
Yeah.
Everyone knew the live service bubble was over except the people like chasing.
They were the last ones out the door, really. You know what I mean? They were the ones that like, okay, so this is over now.
But like when you hear Ubisoft trying to make a live service game, when you heard Rockstar being like, hey, when's that new Arkham game coming out? It isn't. Here's our live service game.
How about we don't
The
do that
second you
anymore?
heard that,
Yeah.
you kind
See,
of knew.
When PS4 came out, I reported it because when I was doing my tech show. Dustin and John and I sat there and went, "Yep, Nintendo, Xbox did," because we looked at the specs of that game, specs of the two,
Yeah.
and just the graphics alone
Yep.
on the PS4 outdid the graphics on the Xbox.
I mean-
and that was reason why, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper. than the
It was
Play-
cheaper. Honestly, I don't even. That isn't what won the console war. It was a little bit of optics. It literally the commercial I remember most during the console war was they were like the Xbox was like, and it's not backwards compatible, and it's like games are tied to your account, and you have to do this, and there was like this whole arcane labyrinthine thing, and then PlayStation put out a commercial that said how to share your games with your friends on PlayStation, and it was the president and vice president of Sony.
Yeah.
One of them held a game out, handed it to their friend. They took it, looked at the camera, and the commercial was over.
Yeah.
It was a 3-second commercial.
Well,
that
also
told you
because
everything you needed to
I
know.
keep saying this. Remember when the PS4 came out and the Xbox, was it Xbox One? Yeah, it was Xbox One came out. Xbox One was supposed to be one game control at all.
Yeah.
One
It was going to be an
console.
all-in-one console.
All-in-one
hooked up with
console,
a Kinect.
everything.
That's your
And
media player.
especially-
It's your,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and connect to it and everything. That's what scared most people off. It's because they didn't want a device on 24 hours a day
Yeah,
watching
it
you
started-
doing whatever they
I don't
want.
Apparently,
Yeah.
consumers don't like having a camera set up in their living room watching them at all times by a
Yeah.
company that may or may not
No.
be actively watching them whenever they want.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, but the math has been done on that, and it's actually we like 18 of those devices. Thank you very much. We would
But
as
no-
many as humanly possible.
But no,
if
that's-
my house can't sell my house, then it's not connected.
All right. Now, one of yours that you wanted to talk about Warner Brothers and all that.
Yeah,
stuff?
I'm angry. I'm real mad. So the Warner Brothers, they pulled out a gun, they shot themselves in the foot, then they turned around and said, "Don't worry, the bleeding will stop. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let me load this gun again."
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, and tell you it's gonna be so. Warner Brothers has basically it's February, it's earnings call season.
Yep.
All the big companies get together, they talk to their shareholders and they say, "Hey, what's up?" And then some of those shareholders leak it online. It's great. It's a great time for video game news. And basically what Warner Brothers did is they said, "I know we failed spectacularly. I know we made Suicide Squad, burned Rocksteady to the ground, and Monolith has worked on 13 games in 15 years, none of which have seen the light of day. But but we're doing great." And they basically, what they said is, "We're gonna make money." Like they said, it's gonna be liquid. It's not gonna be as liquid as it used to be, but it's gonna be liquid. We're gonna be in the black, just not as black as it was, but it's not going to be red.
Yeah.
And they basically announced that they're like, "We're going to redo our portfolio," which means they're cutting games, they're cutting developers, and it sucks. They have basically, I know that there's a Wonder Woman game in the works that has been in development for a while, and
I
they're
think
like,
it's still a ways away as well.
well,
Yep.
because they just changed what it is.
Yeah,
Apparently it was on the Nemesis system, which, by the way, the Nemesis system is copyright. It's a patent that Warner Brothers owns.
Oh, okay.
So. And by changing the name of that product, the Nemesis system, the coolest thing about Shadow of War, is never going to see the light of day again. If you liked that game, sorry, sucks to be you. But they are just so reckless and so callous to what they are doing with their projects. And if you hear them talk in the earnings call, they're like, "Guys, you know what? What game it's going to sell like hotcakes? You want to know the iron could not be colder? Let's make a Game of Thrones video game.
Yeah.
Now's the time. 2026. That's when people want their Game of Thrones video game." And you're sitting there as a person who cares about any Warner Brother property on Earth, going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Game of Thrones died.
Yeah.
Let it go.
But a Wonder Woman game, do you think people are gonna care in a year? How's the DCU doing?
Yeah.
See, the problem is the DCU universe is down here. Marvel's moving on doing their own little thing.
Right, but Warner Brothers doesn't own Marvel, so they have to just.
I know, but
if
I'm just saying,
care,
there's nothing. We haven't had anything out for DC universe.
No,
Yeah,
they're
and this
rebooting
earnings
under
call
James
is
Gunn.
why.
Meanwhile, we got the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man video game coming out. We got tons of other Marvel stuff coming out.
Allow me to tweak what you said a bit. It's not that we're not getting DC things; we're not getting good DC things.
Good
Absolutely.
DC. Oh,
And
God,
we're not getting it
I
because
remember the last Wonder Woman video game came out. It was
or the last Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Good God. But regardless, just Warner Brothers has kind of decided that the only value that their property has, that DC has, is its value. And we're all nerds here.
Yep.
I bet we fell in love with video games at some point because we related to Spider-Man, because
Yes.
Superman showed us that good people can exist unconditionally.
Yeah.
That, Batman might save us, or that there is that, this good can exist in the world, and that these things matter. They became popular for a reason. It's not because they were internally marketable. It was because they had a soul. And if you look at the Warner Brothers earnings call right now, you can tell that if there is a soul to these products, if there is a creative mind working on them, the people at the top just couldn't care less. And
No.
it's not an uncommon story,
Yep.
but it sucks that it's happening, and it sucks that it's happening to the kind of people that made the Arkham games.
Yep.
That, Rockstar and Monolith, so many things that they're working on,
Yep.
and we are going to see games that we're not going to like. It's just a list of games that will be bad.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that sucks. That
Yeah.
sucks to see.
Yeah, it does. It sucks. So, so move on. One more or a couple more I want to know. Is it the end of the year or the end of the franchise for Resident Evil? So, according to this article I read on Game Chat, or Game Rant, it looks like increasingly likely 2024 will mark the end of the era for Capcom's Resident Evil franchise. It will also be the first time in 5 years that no game from series hits the store shelves. Capcom have released a new Resident Evil game nearly every single year since the original's release in 1996. So basically, they're trying to read between the
Feels
lines
like
here.
they're backing off. Maybe they're running out of ideas. I know they had the Reverse, which is like their Resident Evil universe
yeah.
thing is shuttering down, and maybe they're just kind of taking it back to the tool shed and gonna,
I think that's the better metaphor, is that they're
Yeah.
taking it back to the tool shed. Like Capcom, from what I have seen from like the interviews with people of Capcom, these people are so incredibly hungry and passionate. I mean, just look at the new Street Fighter game.
Yep.
Like that was made by people who cared.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil like remakes, those were excellent.
Fantastic.
Like,
Oh,
they-
that's
the
the reason
people-
why I got into it, is
Yeah.
because of the remakes.
Yeah, no, the people at Capcom love the games they make. They're just sick of making the same game forever. Is Resident Evil going to go away forever? No.
No. They're
It's
just-
going to make money.
I'm
Like,
I'm looking forward to how it's going to come back, much in the same way it went from Resident Evil 6 to Resident Evil 7, and went to it like they took something and went, we're going to go we're going to go different. We're not going to go third person
Like
camera.
Sil-
We're going to go first person view. It's going to be very scary.
well,
Like
And
Silent
it's-
Hill.
Yeah, I'm here for a pivot of
Yeah.
however they want to do.
well, my thing is, even if it's not Resident Evil, those people aren't going anywhere. That's
Yeah.
the big
Yeah, yeah,
difference,
yeah.
is that like the people who made that game are A, really good at making games, B, really care about the games they're making, and C, if they're not working on Resident Evil, it's because they're working on something else, and that
Yeah.
other thing, I'm gonna play.
Exactly. We don't know what's that.
We need a new Mega Man game. I'm gonna say it.
That would be so
What
Okay.
Mega Man could be in this day and age
Tiny-
with a system that just
tiny thing. It's not related to video games, but it's topical and more people need to know about it. There is a band called the Proto Men that made
Oh.
a full rock opera
Nice.
about the entire story of Mega Man based on 80s classic rock. And it is more authentic classic rock than you've heard in decades. And it is amazing. They
Nice.
took Mega Man and elevated it to Shakespeare. And it's great. And
I'm gonna look that up.
If a Mega Man game comes out and any executive sees this podcast, hire the Proto Men to
Yeah.
make the soundtrack. Please.
Yep.
It's so good.
Capcom. That's you.
Yeah.
Talking to you.
Yeah, they're talking to you. But yeah, I mean, it'll be good. You know, I agree they're setting it back and just going to try to do whatever new.
Yep.
Marvel Rivals. Rivals, that new game.
Rivals, yep.
Rivals, that new game. I haven't played it. I haven't looked at it.
I still haven't checked it out yet. I know it's a decent hero shooter. It's actually one of the newer games on Play Versus to be able to have a.
Turn this. I'm looking at the.
I
trailer.
honestly, so I think, Alan, I think we're about to hear a lot more about it because the problem is everyone seems to like it.
Yeah.
The other problem is Overwatch kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Got
if
Adam the Warlock
I am
and all
not
that.
as I like to look at the news, but it's not like I know that many people in the
Yeah.
industry. It's like I know some people, not a lot. The
Yeah.
people I do know like aren't making decisions or anything. But if I had to guess, just watching this space for a while, understanding I could be wrong, of course, is that people that play Overwatch play it because of the kind of game it is and the kind of balance it is, not because they like it.
Yeah.
And Marvel Rivals has that kind of game and that kind of balance, and they like it.
Yeah.
So I really think that Marvel Rivals is in a prime position to replace Overwatch as a competitive game that we're gonna see at EVO, at
Yep.
games conferences, and we are going to hear about it, and very probably, as esports coaches, we are going to have to deal with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
you two
I
are
have
gonna have
not
to
played
deal
that
with it.
game.
Yep.
I am already looking into
Yeah.
getting the game and trying to study it because I might need to know
It's
how to
free to
coach
play.
it pretty
I
soon.
mean, it's available.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's got no barrier to entry.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot going for it in that sense. B, the people making Marvel Rivals, I've been very quick. Like, to my understanding, and granted, I wasn't watching Marvel Rivals very closely. I know that there were people who were excited about it, but I also know that a lot of people were exhausted at the idea of another hero,
Shooter.
of another arena hero game.
Yep.
And so
So is
if-
this like kind of like Smash?
it's like Overwatch.
It's like Overwatch. You pick a hero.
It's
you know what I mean?
Overwatch.
You pick.
it's kind of like
It's
Apex Legend.
a little bit
Kinda.
where you've got characters that you choose from, and
Yeah.
each character has different abilities,
now I know
and then
what
you're
you're talking
building your
about, yeah.
team with different
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It's not like Fortnite where everyone's dropping, picking up the loot. You
No,
got
it's
you
kinda
got
like
you got
Apex.
starting
walk
ability.
in with a kit, and then you have to use that kit on a very asymmetric
Yeah,
map.
it's kind of
with-
like Apex
yeah.
Legends, kind of like Team Fortress.
Yes, but with a couple of very key
Overwatch.
additions to the Overwatch is the best comparison. That it is
yeah.
like
I've played
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
End of
It
list.
is an Overwatch clone basically
Yeah,
with a Marvel
it's
skin.
just
Okay,
it's
yeah.
a very good one, and
Yeah.
it's also one that actually iterates on
Because-
Overwatch. Would have been great if Overwatch did that when they made
Problem with
Overwatch
Overwatch
2?
2.
Problem with Overwatch 2, because I played 2,
Yeah.
was it was just gotten tedious. You know, you get in there and you got the same 4 characters,
Yeah.
I promise you that is not the only problem with Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
and it was so sweaty that I decided, you know what, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Overwatch was. I don't know if you know the discourse on Overwatch 2. It's worth
I
looking
don't.
into. It is such a dumpster fire. They basically, like, the thing that was going to define Overwatch 2 is that they were going to have, like, a single player story mode or, like, a PvE mode, and they cut it. So what they were left with was a game that was exactly like Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With a worse in-game store and worse balance because they balanced it for the enemies that
Yeah.
we're never gonna see.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then and for years, like the problem that would have been fine. Like they could have pivoted, whatever. The problem is it released. And then they were like, no, guys, the PvE mode is coming. It's gonna happen.
I swear, it's coming, I swear.
And they're like, we're gonna do a demo for it. It's gonna be
Greg,
great.
hold this off for 5 years. It's coming, I swear it's coming.
Yeah.
Pull it off for another 5 years.
It's
Yeah.
just
Coming.
Overwatch 2 is a black hole of talent and manpower that no one working on the game it's so hard to point a finger at developers because people working on games, they're in there
Yeah.
because they care.
Yep.
But the people who were running that project clearly didn't.
Yep.
And it is just painful to look at the story and look at what they were trying to do, and clearly we're not going to get the resources or manpower to do the kind of turnover they had, the kind of pressure they had to put on their workers to try and make something that was never going to see the light of day.
Yep.
And playing a game that unfinished with something that important ripped out
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
is never going to work.
Would never worked.
Yeah.
Would never. All right. Just do a speed round here. Fortnite chapter 6, season 2 be coming out on the 21st. The new characters this month are going to be the Avatar skin, Jim Cameron's Avatar, and a combustible.
Oh, James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah, James
I don't follow
Cameron's
Fortnite, I don't
Avatar. And a Iron Man skin and a whole bunch of other Marvel
Yep.
stuff.
They got the new Captain America movie coming out, so I'm sure the marketing team is
Yeah.
getting the skins
I
ready
can't wait.
for
I want to watch
Fortnite.
that movie.
It looks
do
good.
we?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Fortnite. Do we know what kind of deal they have with Marvel Studios? Like, is it a perpetual deal where they like have the? I'm assuming it helps Marvel to
Yeah,
have their
it does. It
property on
helps.
Fortnite.
I'm assuming there's some sort of license between
License deal
Epic
at
Games
Epcot,
and Marvel
actually.
But like, is
Epcot
the
and
license like
Disney.
ongoing? Does it stop at
I'm
a certain
ass-
date? Is it like
No,
everything before
it's
2021?
it's been going like there's been
But do you think they're like signing new deals? Because like I saw that they recently did something with like Bandai Namco. They did something with Gundam, which I was excited about, but I have no idea what that deal looks like.
they've got stuff coming up with. They have deals with Disney.
Right.
Which is Marvel.
Yeah.
How?
So-
What must it be like to work for? I don't know the company that makes Fortnite, but what must it be like?
Epcot or Epic.
Epic Games.
Epic, yeah. What must it be like to work for Epic and be? Because I feel like the most important person in that entire building is the person who makes deals with IP, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. The person who
Like the
is-
game doesn't need work. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, you still need engineers and they're doing a great job.
Yep.
Otherwise, people wouldn't like it. But like,
At this point, all they needed is
That's
somebody
quite
to do
the
the maps.
that's quite the job in terms of
It is
acquisition in the in that sense.
right? It is a conglomeration of the mountain of IP anyone cares about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like all gathering in one place.
Throw it all together. Yep.
So, anyways, yeah, we're getting that. That's coming out at the end of this month. And yes, we are hitting a new live event. We already had our live event for this month, for this season. But yeah, Control 2 for those that play Control.
Yep.
That zombie game.
Yep.
I played it. I loved it.
Which is this the?
You're the FBI agent. It's kind of like Resident Evil, female version of Resident Evil.
Oh no! So it's a Remedy game. That's the one I wanted to know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so honest with you. Watch out for Remedy. They make some of the most incredible, like well thought out
It
games
is
ever.
Remedy.
Yep.
Yeah, and the way they ended Alan Wake 2 showed so much ambition for what they want to do with the Remedy-verse. Is like they're sort of taking all of their games and like screwing them together in a beautiful way.
Nice.
Well,
So
if you read
I
this-
would watch out for Control 2. I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now.
This is, talk about Alan
Yeah.
Wake. This is because reading this headline from Rant, Control 2 enters a full production as Alan Wake has fully recouped its development costs.
Yep.
So, I mean, and they were talking
Good on
about how
them, yeah.
Alan Wake 2 is already making money off of them. They
Yep.
didn't even started.
Yeah.
Well, Alan Wake 2 sold very poorly when it launched.
Yeah.
They lost money for a long time. They only just they only just barely recouped the cost
Yeah.
it took to develop the game. That game came out like a while ago.
Yeah.
That game was incredibly slow to make money, but it is so blindingly genius
Yeah.
that the players have dragged that game into profitability by virtue of it is incredible.
Another epic game.
Yeah. So watch out for Control 2. I promise you it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, if it's anything
Remedy
like
knows what they're doing.
if it's anything like Control 1, oh my God, yes.
All right.
love
I gotta
Control.
check that out.
Yeah, it
You
was
really
a good,
should.
Yeah.
You really should check
Absolutely.
out Control. It was
Yep.
excellent. If you like Resident Evil,
Yep.
You
but
should.
this one's not as scary.
Yeah.
It's more like a bunch of zombies coming at you at once.
Yeah.
Kind of like Black for Blood type of deal.
No,
Okay.
play that. Play play that, then immediately play Alan Wake 2. They're kind of linked. Alan Wake 2 will change your idea of what a video game can be.
Nice.
I promise you.
That's what I like.
There is a sequence in Alan Wake 2 where the director of the game they used his face for one of the characters, but that character is voiced by a different voice actor, and that the actual developer of the game, they have live action segments filming Alan Wake in like an alternate like dream sequence thing. It's brilliant.
Yep.
It's unbelievably artistic. It will change your mind of what a video game can do.
Nice.
And also, one last thing before we wrap it. We have another DLC for ATS. It's going to be Illinois again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you check on YouTube. They got the trailers out. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
that's pretty much it, unless you want to dive into the game developers abusing. You got anything over there?
No, I got a couple quick stories. Just EA Sports got UFC 5 joining the Xbox Game Pass, along with Diablo and the indie hit Road 96. We got Exo Primal and Escape Academy leaving the service as well. Xbox had a developer direct a couple weeks ago revealing Ninja Gaiden 4, Doom the Dark Ages, and another game, South of Midnight. And for the kids, we've got a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game coming back in the Q1 of 2025 to trap down the VILE criminals while solving geography-based puzzles, blending learning and adventure. It's the first new entry in over a decade, bringing nostalgia and fresh gameplay for a new generation.
So who's going to putting that out? Who's putting that out?
It doesn't say.
PC, Xbox?
I'm assuming it's going to be Steam, probably Xbox and PC as well. I'll have more details next month, guys.
Nintendo might be a good market for it if that's the age
Absolutely.
group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nintendo would be a
I'm
great
sure it'll be
market
there.
for it, and PC would be a great market
Yeah.
for it because, I'll be playing it just because I liked it
It's a
when I
good
was a
game.
kid.
Yeah, no, great. Hey, edutainment-based games, great.
And
Make
that's
more of 'em.
where I learned most of my world geography was because of Carmen Sandiego, man.
All right.
All right, let's wrap it up. Have
That's
a nice
it.
day. Thanks for
That's
watching.
it for February. We'll see you guys in March.
All
Take
right,
care.
Bye.